The federal income tax was not even legal until the early 1900s. The Constitution didn't allow it. We needed an amendment to create the right for the federal government to confiscate parts of our income. It was desired by progressives who wanted to see bigger government and couldn't tax the normal channels and needed much more flows of income. Back in 1913, when it was first passed, and in the early years of the income tax, it only affected the wealthiest people and those earning what today would be over $2 million in income. And their tax was still a mere 6%. You know what's happened. It's grown to every sphere. Almost every earner has an income tax attached. I should say the majority. The majority of earners have income tax attached. And it's a burdensome tax. If you had the 30% that's being confiscated now, what could you do with that money? All kinds of things that right now the government's being entrusted to do. The charitable contributions you could make with 30% more. The beauty of having investable funds or spendable things on important things like schools, that's available by abolishing the income tax. Folks, here's the moral argument for no income tax. With a two-earning couple now forfeiting 35% of their earnings, if you have that back, one spouse can stay home, raise kids better, take care of the home better. Whether that's husband or wife, abolishing the income tax allows that. Most politicians don't make the moral argument for abolition. I do. What would replace it? Well, here's two very efficient and ultimately fairer ways to tax. Sales tax. It taxes what you choose to spend on. Okay? We think a sales tax that has no holes. Okay? Don't start getting into what's essential and not. Milk's going to get taxed just as much as luxury items, because as soon as you start making discrepancies, you politicize it, you use some politician's judgment or some bribes to that politician to decide what will be protected or not, across the board. And wealth taxes. Isn't that a fairer way? Taxing real property, homes, boats, buildings, cars. Those things are easy to find, so there's an efficiency of a wealth tax that is not even comparable to an income tax, where most of us don't even know how to define income. Accountants don't even know how to define income. You know the tax code. You give a mediumly complex return to 50 different CPAs, you'll get at least 48 different answers for what they should be. That is so porous. The tax code is so open to manipulation, not by you and I, but by powerful political people. It becomes the most unfair tax amidst us. Consider wealth, consider sales to totally replace the income tax. Folks, a wealth tax and a sales tax do not have to be high. By our estimation, 3%. 3% on sales, 3% on real property, boats, cars. That's it. Now, that is with a diminished federal budget. We'd like to see the budget at least reduced by 50%. But even if you keep it at a huge $4 trillion in spending, you'd still not be more than 6%. Very doable. Far better than the oppressive 25 to 39% federal income tax that besieges you every year. Far better to have the simple, I'm paying it clearly, compared to the work that you have to do with income tax. Abolishing income tax means no saving of receipts. Abolishing the income tax means retirement planning is not influenced by a tax code, but by what is really best, investment by investment. We need to do this before the decade is out.